Does the most jacked skater in the world Weck himself? Hello, and thank you for joining another episode of Dumb Data, where we break down the numbers so you don't have to. In this breakdown, we'll take a look at the most jacked skaters video part, Bro AF.
Dude, that was yummy, bro. Yeah.
Weckingball is certainly a polarizing personality in the skating community, and I lean on the supportive side. I don't condone his antics when he takes sensitive topics too far, especially when they're not about skating.
That is a manual.
But I'm here for when he calls out pros in the industry for their wrongdoings with manuals and being whack in general.
Yo, what's up, Yo, what's up, idiots? What's up, bro? Jason Parks. I know, right? Who? But I checked him out, and he does have more Instagram followers than me, and he's verified. I'm not even verified. Like, what's up with that, IG? You know exactly who I am. Stop playing with me.
When I first heard about Weckingball, I saw him on the 9 Club Experience, where he put on an act that definitely would ruffle feathers for those who didn't know about his characteristics beforehand.
My name is a genetic freak. We got Weckingball is here. I didn't know you were allowed to come here. Well, I'm allowed to come wherever I want, Chris. There's a lot of people.
Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Weck's been followed around by Jenkum.
So we recently been getting hit up by this dude, Weckingball.
No! What's up? Are you part of the gang to fight me?
I don't know.
Oh, damn.
I don't think so. Who's talking
I don't know, dude. People keep talking to me and they never, and they're like, I'm like, come to Jers, and they're like, and I just came here, where they at?
Where he chopped a board in half by simply slamming it repeatedly against a trash can. The globally revered Dime Glory Challenge has featured Weck doing hilarious stuff more than once. The Bunt even did an interview with Weck.
Last person you want on the sesh?
I've never met him, but I'm gonna say Dane Vaughn. I don't want to skate with that guy ever.
Oh.
Have anything to do with his hairdo and outfits or no?
Not primarily, but that is part of it.
I didn't even have ads pop up when watching this part, which tells me he's not doing much to monetize his YouTube channel even though he has over 10,000 subscribers. How much protein did Weckingball pack into his skating? Let's take a look and dive into some data. Intro. As if we opened a time capsule to the late 90s, Weckingball appears from a hole in the wall of a gym, looking like a boss from GoldenEye on N64. Major props on creativity and originality so far. At this point, I still don't know what this vid's about, but I'm hooked immediately. A neon title card takes us to a cold open with Mr. Atlantic City, aka Sean On, who hypes up Weckingball, and we cut to the first skating clip of the Yummy God stomping a big tray on flat while being pursued by security. I can't say I've ever seen such a high-speed chase in a part before. Look how fast Weck goes. Location. Thanks to a combination of drone footage in the intro that reveals landmarks and Sean On,
Mr. Atlantic City, Sean On, man.
It looks like this part was filmed in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Music. I enjoyed the instrumental. Kind of old school hip-hop beat mixed with a sad, hypnotizing trap melody. The music complements the overcast, dystopian New Jersey atmosphere, and Weck's aggressive skating shines through these two elements, tying the whole edit together well. Tricks. 21 tricks and/or combos make up the Bro AF part, with over half comprised of a flip trick of some sort. Weck works in 4 different manny combos, including his ender, which we'll get to in a sec. 10 of the 21 tricks and combos are single shot, with the remaining 11 tricks made up of lines. Lines. Weckingball's longest line in this part is a trio of flip tricks. Well, depending on whether you classify an impossible as a flip trick or spin trick or something else, it's a flat ground trick and it's squeezed in between a kickflip and a frontside flip. The first line is a quick double ollie up a 3-stair, then over a sidewalk into the street. Weck's second line picks up from the previous chase scene where he tray bombs on flat, and let's see if I get this one right. A frontside 180 backside nose grind on an awkwardly positioned ledge/rail. The second to last line is another two-parter, featuring an ollie up a ledge followed by a big flip into the street. Weck's final line focuses simultaneously on the tricks, a backside tail slide and a boosted frontside 180 down a parking garage level, and his fit, where my naive self can only guess he's equipped with something between a souped-up fanny pack and a tactical chest rig. Single shots. Everything's pretty straightforward with Weckingball's single shot tricks. The only question I have is with the bench trick. At best, Weck approaches the bench head on, but I'd argue he's coming towards it backside. He looks like he's doing a nose blunt, but based on where he's taking off, the trick should technically be a backside nose slide. Something you don't see too often, and the trick looks great, just a little confusing on the technical side. Flip tricks. Of the 13 flip tricks, 12 if you don't consider an impossible a flip trick, Weckingball clearly favors kickflips. 4 kickflips are featured, and 6 of the other flip tricks have a kickflip in it, including the fakey hard flip switch manny. Heel flips do make an appearance in this part, and they're actually in the form of my personal favorite heel flip stance, good old nollie. And they're not just straight nollie heel flips. One is a picture-perfect massive nollie backside heel flip gap into the street, understandably getting the slow motion treatment mid-flip. Ender. The final trick of the part is a manny trick, and requires Weck to pop an ollie I'd guess at least 2 to 3 feet into a crouched nose manny across the stage, with a nollie tray off. Outro. Less than 2 minutes of this edit is actually Weck skating. The other half of the runtime in Bro AF is the 3D animation intro and claymation outro. The claymation outro is where we get a glimpse into the Yummy God's evolution from skating. Shortly preceding the clay, we cut to a Sopranos-esque black and white scene of Weck sprinting full speed into a wooded back road, equipped with work gloves, Timbs, and a shovel. Digging a shallow grave, Weck buries himself, and with a final wave of dirt thrown onto the camera, we hear muffled yells followed by a solid 5 seconds of black screen and silence. Then we enter a vibrantly lit, colorful world of clay, where an even leaner Weck blasts out of the dirt in full barbarian mode. 2 new characters are introduced while a rainbow strobe light flashes on a unicorn and a beaver, both making high-pitched squeaking sounds. Before we can even really absorb what's going on, we're in the middle of a highly violent celebrity deathmatch style situation, where Clay Weck drops a left and right haymaker directly to the unicorn, removes its horn, and reinserts the detached cone. Weck drinks the protein shake from the unicorn bottle, and the dilated pupils indicate he's fully juiced. Yummy! One final yummy roar later, and Clay Weck supermans into the air off screen, before we're left with a closing shot of the sleepy unicorn. Wow. 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 So what do we make of this, Weck? Reincarnating into a clay version of yourself, consuming unicorn protein in front of a beaver, and flying into space really leaves a lot to interpretation for us mere mortals. We truly are spectators, simply living in Weckingball's world. Yummy! Getting Wecked. Famous for calling out professional skaters that scrape or touch wheels on a manual.
Wow, man, I really like that Green Day shirt. I love that band so much, and that shirt makes you look so retro and vintage. It's like no one could ever tell that you're only 13 years old. Whatever you gotta do to take the attention away from that invisible hippie jump you just did.
Does the most jacked skater in the world Weck himself? The first frontside 180 Fakey Manny teases us with some close calls right when he's locking into the manual. And a couple of feet after when he nearly overcorrects forward after almost tapping his back wheel. After that, he stabilizes and is in the clear. Next is the kickflip nose manny nollie frontside heel flip. Weck does a great job of locking into the nose manny from the kickflip, without even a trace of scrapes or wheel taps. We get pretty darn close to a nose scrape on the initial stabilization, but Weck pulls through and makes it to the end of the mani pad without any violations. But now we've entered a controversial spot in this trick. Normally, we're only worried about clearly blatant scrapes and taps, but what if you pop your nose out of a manual? Technically, you're touching your nose before the manual's over, even though you almost have to because of the flip trick out. But Weck proves it's possible to flip out of tricks without scraping your nose, exemplified by the nollie tray out of his nose manny ender. I know what some people will say. Nollie trays are by nature a non-popping trick, but there's plenty of examples of flipping out of tricks without popping your nose or tail. Let's be honest, it's not a big deal. Weck killed it here, even though the board bounced before he landed the trick. So all in all, no, I don't think Weck wecked himself here. I enjoyed this part from start to finish. I'm happy to see Weck still skating, and in some crusty spots nonetheless. Well, that pretty much covers the breakdown for Weckingball's Bro AF video part. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Dumb Data, click the notification bell to stay on top of new episodes, and drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown. See you on the next dumb episode.